Hello guys, this is Cyber Dragon here, bringing you guys a new what if I'm actually going to do. And I'm also happy to say that I've actually changed my iPhone screen so it doesn't black out when I'm recording, so you won't see any fade outs or anything like that when I'm recording. If I remember to do that, because when I'm out in public, I wanted to at least have a certain amount of time to turn off if I'm not using it, so that in case I drop it, no one gets my personal information. I hope you guys can understand that, but yeah, look, so I'm still going to do the what if Sub-Zero, but I'm also going to downplay that a bit before season 5 comes in, because I don't really read the manga. I keep tabs on what happened in manga or not. Like, I know about the Black Whip. I don't know exactly what the war arc is, but whenever I mentioned it to one of my friends, they had like, oh no. Which got me curious, but I don't want any spoilers, so please keep them at a minimum. But yeah, no, I got inspired by 2 people to do this specific type of video. That guy XII, which he has a separate channel for this type of stuff now, looks like. Which he did a taskmaster video. It's going to be it's not going to be based off of that though. It's going to have the idea of taskmaster, but somewhat based off of another guy, which his name is Izuku Midoriya. What if? That is his channel name, and he has done a Deathstroke video. That's what I got inspired by to do this. I like Taskmaster a bit more than Deathstroke, and yeah. His original idea for it was interesting, but he did a redo version of it completely different from the original he did. I was confused why he did that and kind of liked his original idea at first. But yeah. If you want to check that original idea out, go and check his channel out. There's 2 different Deathstroke ideas that he done. One, he only got to 1 part, and the second one, I kind of watched the first part and noticed the 2 was different. So, I'm giving the credit to them, obviously. Both of that guy XII and What If Izuku Midoriya What Ifs. But I'm still doing my own story of it. I'm taking elements from that What If Izuku Midoriya guy while I'm doing Taskmaster instead of Deathstroke. So the idea is still somewhat original, and yeah, as a famous man once says, good artist copies, great artist steals. And yeah, I'm admitting I'm stealing some of the ideas, so. But yeah, let's get to the video. So, a bit of backstory. Firstly, Inko is not going to be a great mother. Matter of fact, she will have no connection to Izuku when he is born. As Hisashi is not in this either. He does not exist. Inko is just knocked up one night by some random guy. Possibly the original Taskmaster, I'm going to say. Possibly, but I'm not so sure either. If you guys want me to, he could be the original Taskmaster who knocked her up, and add him later in the video to do a little controversy for him, like whether he choose to be either a mercenary like his father or a hero like his mother gonna be. Which you will see what I'm talking about later if you guys want that, but if not, I will just leave the original Taskmaster, out of this. As when Izuku is born, Inko has no emotional attachment. She didn't even want a child to begin with. And Mitsuki knows that, but she said to put him up for adoption, but Inko did not want to do that. She just wanted to get rid of it in general. So, when a day or 2 after Izuku was born, he got discharged with Izuku. I'm not sure if that's possible, but maybe she just took him without anyone knowing. She just drove him to the Beast Forest, where the training arc was at. Left him in a basket and a note. I'll tell you what the note says here soon, but as she gave Izuku a death glare and just walked away, driving away, as he is crying now. As two people specifically hears this. It is Mandalay and Tiger. But now we're going to go a little bit back with that, like why are they out there? For a Mandalay point of view now. Mandalay has been down in the dumps for a while now. Has been wanting to have a child, and I actually looked up Mandalay's original age to see if this would connect. I'm going to down age her up a bit when Izuku was born, because she would have been 16 when Izuku was born, because he was 15 in canon, and she was like 31. So she would have been 16 and still in school, technically. Which I don't want to do that, so I'm going to age her up to around her late 20s. 24 to 25. But yeah, she's been wanting to have a child for a long time. She doesn't know any males, and the only male she knows to be even close to having a good relationship with is Tiger, but she didn't feel that to him. So she went to a sperm bank to see if it's possible to do a sperm donor or not. As the doctor is looking over her medical records and whatnot, they got some bad news for her, telling her that insemination is impossible for her. She is shocked and wondering why. As the doctor simply explains, some females aren't really born with to be able to have fertile eggs, and your eggs are not really fertile enough to guarantee you to have a child. Even if we try, there's almost a 0% chance. Because some women are born like that, like always have a miscarriage or something like that, and not having being fertile or not. So she is devastated. Honestly, this is weeks, maybe a month before Izuku was even born, so she just kind of sulks around and kind of neglecting her hero duties somewhat. As the others, Ragdoll, Tiger, and Pixie Bob is worried about her. Try to comfort her, tell her everything will be alright, and there's always another option to just simply adopt. She doesn't like the idea at first, but slowly over time she accepts her situation and thinking about adopting. She's slightly getting better and better. The others are happy, and she starts doing more hero work again. It is time of when Izuku is being abandoned the same day. So she decides to go out to get some groceries. Tiger wanted to go with to keep her company because she's still at a somewhat fragile state. She accepts, and they head to the city walking. As they are walking back home after getting groceries, some milk and eggs mostly, as it starts to rain. Mandalay stating, "Great, now it's raining." "Well, at least we're not in the city anymore," Tiger states. And we're pretty close home, too. Mandalay agreeing, and they talk a bit. As now, Mandalay stops for a moment, hearing a crying child. She thinks he's crazy for a moment, but just in case... Oops, sorry, dropped something. She asks Tiger if you hear that. Tiger stops talking for a moment, and they both hear a crying child. They run to the noise, thinking that he was simply just lost, the child was. Until they got there, they see a devastating sight to Mandalay. And possibly the other pussycats, like Tiger and if Pixie Bob and Ragdoll was there. Seeing a child left in a basket, nothing with a pillow to lay on top of, and a note attached to the basket. Mandalay picks up the note and reading it, saying, "I do not want this child anymore. I do not see it as mine, and I do not care what happens to him. Keep him and or feed him all you want. I really do not care. She is visibly upset about this. The one thing that she wants out of anything out of this world and that she can't have, the mother simply just abandoned the child, which the child looks to be only 3 days old at best. Practically a kitten in their minds. As Tiger states, we probably should get him out of here. His immune system probably is not fully developed yet enough to ward off any colds or anything, because it is starting to rain pretty badly now. As she agrees, picking up the basket and running back home as fast as they can while being careful with Izuku. As Ragdoll and Pixie Bob is just sitting around, wondering what is taking them so long, they burst through the door, stating that we need to get a bath ready for the baby Izuku. Pixie Bob and Ragdoll is asking what happened. Tiger said, "I'll explain while we're getting the materials, but for now, we need to get something to feed the child and to clean him up, to make sure he doesn't get a cold." As Mandalay offers to wash the baby. They agree and they start frantically running around looking for items. Fortunately, Mandalay also did buy some baby clothes. Small baby clothes, of course, and a baby bottle. This was before that she knew she wasn't going to have a child of her own. As they are making some milk, getting some warm water in a metal tub, Mandalay's just sitting on the couch with the baby. Not on the couch, but yeah, hold on, I'll pull up. Okay, maybe not exactly like this picture, but this is what the baby Izuku will dress up as. So I'm just going to stick to this picture for now. But yeah, she just smiles at the child, seeing how calm it is, even without his biological mother around. As the baby's just looking back at Mandalay, having slightly open eyes. And it is somewhat formed a little smile, giggling a little, as Mandalay, something kicked in her. Some motherly instinct, maternal instincts. And she picks up the child, caressing it and holding it close to her. And she is just smiling, seeing how calm the baby is. And Izuku just dozing off somewhat, hearing Mandalay's heartbeat. She smiles and said, "I will be your mother." In her head, she hums a little melody as she's rocking the baby in her arms. As the others are seeing this, seeing how happy she is, and after what Tiger told Pixie Bob and Ragdoll, they think that she would want to adopt a child. But they need to talk to see what the first steps are to need to be done. As they tell Mandalay that we have a bath ready for the little child. As Mandalay states that I've already given the child a name. They ask, "Already?" And they are curious as what they named him. As Mandalay smiles at the baby and saying, "Izuku. I wanted to name my child that when I first thought I could have my own. But now that this child mine will be with me, I want to name him Izuku." As they accept that name. And they decided to talk more about this tomorrow and bring him into the police to see if they can find who the biological mother is and possibly put the mother in jail. Because you do not leave a child in the forest, especially if the forest is called the Beast Forest, on a rainy night when the baby is like 2 days old at best. 2 to 3 days old. Barely a week. Because I think the baby had to stay at the hospital at a certain amount of time until they're ready to, bring them home. As for that, Mandalay takes the baby, cleaning him and drying him off, putting him in little baby clothes. And yes, it is going to be this baby clothes. I'm going to keep this up until he grows up a bit. Mandalay also starts to feed him now. Some milk that they just bought, warmed it up, and feeding him with the baby bottle. As Izuku is now asleep. Little baby Izuku, as Mandalay is smiling and making sure her baby does not want to feel lonely or anything. She just lets him sleep on top of her while she sleeps, letting him hear his heartbeat. As that is how the night went. As it is now the next day, all the Pussycats goes to the police to see who's the mother who abandoned this child. They get a bit of DNA testing done and see the handwritten note, as it was handwritten. They figure out who the mother who abandoned this child, as it was midoriya. And I'm going to say that she took the baby without permission and was immediately arrested and had no custody over him now. As for that, they told them that we will take the baby into foster care now. Mandalay stating that I'm actually adopting this the child, Izuku. They said, alright, but you still have to go through the legal process. But for now, we'll let you hold on to him. We'd still need him to stay at the hospital for a little longer. Mandalay accepts that, and even though she was a bit sad to let him stay at the hospital, she understands that he needs to stay there to make sure that his vital signs and everything was good. And it was. As she goes through the legal process, being declared a perfect fit to raise the child. She is already a good hero, steady job, and some aunts and uncles, as in the Pussycats and Mandalay's sister and brother-in-law. I'm assuming that's you all know who I'm talking about, the fire hoses, or the water hoses, the fire hoses. They're a little younger than her, but still, because I think they were like somewhere in the 30s or 30s when they had Coda, I want to say. Coda isn't born yet, though. They're going to wait a little while. Or I'm going to make them wait a little while to get Coda. Or when Coda introduced to the story. She adopts Izuku and takes care of him. So, and whenever she does actually have to do her hero work, I'm going to say Mitsuki heard what Inko did and tried to reach out to the person who adopted Izuku to thank her for what she done and start to become friends with Mandalay. And that she said she can watch Izuku when she has to do hero work. Mandalay greatly appreciates that, and yeah, and Mitsuki also has Bakugo as a child too, so both of them still going to be good friends. Well, I want to say good friends, but friends at first. So, yeah. A few years go by. Mandalay and Izuku, Mandalay tried to play off as Izuku's biological mother. Izuku saying that like, he's around 4 around when he's about to say this type of stuff. As he said, "I know you're not actually my biological mother." And Mandalay said, "How do you know?" As he said, I remember the day I was abandoned." She is surprised and asks him more questions, like details, to see if he really did. And he says everything perfectly. Every vivid detail, every thing that happened that night. And she is surprised that he has this perfect amount of memory. She is sad, though, to think that maybe he won't see her as a mother anymore, as she has a worried look and visibly looks like she's going to cry from that thought, as Deku just hugs her and says, "Even though you're not my actual biological mother, I see you as a real mom to me. So no matter what, that won't change." She smiles and tears up a bit. Some tears running down, but not tears of sadness, tears of joy, basically. As now, the topic of something else brought up now. Is this his quirk? That Tiger said that. Sorry to interrupt this touching reunion, but is this your quirk? They said, "I don't think so, but I don't know either. I do think I have a quirk," so they scheduled a doctor's appointment from a week from now, I'm going to say. That was as soon as they could do it. As Mandalay is on another mission, while Mitsuki and Bakugo is at the Wild Pussycat's place. Bakugo and Izuku is just watching a superhero movie. I'm going to say a Captain America movie. As Izuku is like, he grabs a trash can lid. This is the first time he actually watched the movie too, and does everything that Captain America is doing. Bakugo is looking back and forth at the movie and Deku and seeing that he's doing this perfectly. Asking him, "How are you doing this?" He's saying, "I do not know." Mitsuki is seeing this too. She is surprised and calls up Mandalay and telling her what is going on. Mandalay finishes up her work and asks Izuku, "Show me what you did while I was away." He was wondering, did I do something wrong? And she said, "No, I'm just wondering, that's all." He is, the other pussycats are also wondering, as he just grabs the same trash can lid, throws it around like how Captain America does, bouncing off tree after tree, landing it perfectly in his hands again. He even flips, kicks, and other punches as how Captain America does. They are surprised and amazed too. As the Mandalay said, you could actually be a very good hero, and that you can be a very good hero with skills like that. And she asked, "Have you been practicing?" And Deku said, "No, not really. That's my first time actually watching that, and I kind of remember how to do it perfectly. Nothing was off by a beat. Everything was perfect synchronization. As they are even more impressed than that. As now is the day when they go to the quirk doctor. Mandalay took the day off from hero work, bringing Deku to the city, visiting the quirk doctor. They described what happened, and they did some tests. They said, "Good news, he does have a quirk, but it does nothing to do with the stuff you described." Mandalay is surprised and asked, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, your son apparently has very high IQ. As in, he can see anything once and perfectly do it. For example, we actually had a busted computer in the back that some IT guys hasn't come to fix yet. It's been about a week or two. We got the parts for it, and we showed him a video how to repair this specific type of model. He only watched it once and knew how to fix it immediately by looking inside and seeing there's some parts that are busted up and not working properly, or misplaced parts inside of it. He fixed it up and it looked like nothing ever happened to it, and better than ever. So she is now wondering, well then, what is his quirk if that's not it? As he simply states, well, it is more or less a boost-based quirk. It boosts his endurance, strength, agility, and speed. More higher than most boost-based quirks actually does. He can, and his physical muscles will actually be more keen to it too, as it will grow more muscular too. With proper training with his perfect memory, he can actually be a very good combat hero, and possibly in other aspects too. As now, okay, cool. Okay, so sorry about that. As now they're actually heading back home. Mandalay asking Deku, like, what do you want to be when you grow up after that doctor's appointment? Deku stared at Mandalay and said, I want to be a hero just like you, Mom. And she is happy to hear that he wants to be a hero just like me, like her. And he also says, like, I also want to be a hero just like all my aunts and uncle, and All Might as well. She is happy to hear that her son looks up to her and all her aunts and uncles, and All Might especially. As they are walking by, Deku hears some music playing in the background. They were about to pass a music shop, and he stops. Mandalay stops and asks, what's the matter? And he said, well, I'm just hearing some music, and I'm kind of wanting to see what it is. As she looks up and sees a music shop. As she simply asks, do you want to go in there? Deku's saying yes. They go in, and it is the Jiro's parents' place, as Deku's just looking around. Mandalay's talking to the store owners with the Jiro's parents. Deku's seeing Jiro playing the guitar. So singing a song too. I'm not really sure what song per se though. Like, I'm gonna say, like, do you guys know that song, like, I Don't Want to Be Here Anymore by, I can't really remember the band name right now. But if you guys know what song I'm talking about, hold on, let me pull it up real quick, actually. Sorry about this. Nope. Yeah, by Rise Against. Yeah, those guys. Sorry. I know that can be annoying for some viewers, but yeah. And she's just playing that song, singing it. As Deku's just listening, mesmerized somewhat by her beautiful voice. As she stops and looks up and sees Deku's just staring, and she asks, hi, as she says, Deku saying hi, and saying, I like the song, and you have a very beautiful voice. She blushes a bit, embarrassed, and like, thanks. And Izuku said, what's your name? As she says, Kyoka Jiro. I believe that's how you say her first name, Kyoka. I know some people say it differently, so I'm just going to say it like that, because I believe that's how it's properly said, but yeah, and Izuku said, Izuku Midoriya. As He also noticed the headphone jacks. Is that your quirk? The headphone jacks? She said, yeah. So, he said, that's so cool. And that says you also have great musical talent, too. So, she's happy to see someone actually liking her quirk. She's saying thank you. And asked what's his quirk, and he said just basically a simple strength boost quirk, as it will boost my physical speed and agility and whatnot. Nothing flashy, and it's more or less a mutation, he states too. And she said that's still cool. And they talk for a while. Mandalay's saying that Izuku is making a friend. Jiro's father, on the other hand, is saying, like, well, not on the other hand, but, like, both parents, like Kyoko's mom and Izuku's mom, Mandalay, is like, oh, look at them, they're, like, cute together. Jiro's dad is like, nope, they're not gonna be dating for him. Man, like, I never said they were gonna date. So, she is somewhat of an overprotective mom, somewhat. And Izuku asks if he can try it. As they are talking, Izuku asks Jiro he could play on the guitar with her. And she said, do you know how to play? And Deku said, no, but I can learn very fast. And she said, alright. And he gives him a guitar. He starts playing along with her, as she is surprised that he is, like, really good at it as she is. They're not perfect, per se, but he's more better than her already. As they see that, and asks is that part of his quirk, as he said, no, I just have perfect memory, so I can see how it works, and how to make it sound better. I can pretty much master almost anything with an instant. They are surprised by that, and Jiro wants to be friends with him. They became friends, and yeah. As now, they are all in kindergarten. Bakugo, Jiro, and Izuku. Bakugo finally got his quirk, came in. I'm gonna say they're around 5 or 6 when this happens. Bakugo thinking his quirk is pretty cool and starts to become a little arrogant, like Canon Bakugo. Deku actually has started to train with Mandalay, Tiger, and a bunch of different heroes as they can. As he just watches the news whenever there's a hero on the scene. He can't copy quirks, but he can copy the technique they are doing with their quirks and such other techniques. As he watches boxing matches, taekwondo matches, other matches basically, like fighting matches. He learns them perfectly. He can become a master in less than a day in any fighting style at this point. But Mandalay doesn't let him do that all the time. Like go around in the city all the time. But yeah, no, he still goes to preschool though. Bakugo is starting to pick on Jiro for her lame quirk. Deku saying, stop messing with her. It doesn't matter how the quirk is, as long as she has the drive to help people and to prove on herself. So she's pretty amazing as it is, if she does all of that on her own. Jiro, Bakugo saying, yeah, whatever, nerd. Says, I'm gonna be the #1 hero and you're just gonna be a Deku. Izuku asking, what does that person mean? As he explains, like, it means defenseless Izuku. Deku saying, you wanna try to see how defenseless I am? As he gets in a fighting stance. Bakugo thinking he can take him on with even his little explosions. He throws a punch first. So Deku dodging. So doing basic boxing techniques right now. He doesn't know all the taekwondo and judo and whatnot yet. He's defending Jiro from Bakugo, basically. Anyways, so yeah, Jiro seeing how skilled he is already at this young age. Bakugo is too. So he beats Bakugo in a fair fight. Bakugo said, "No fair, you cheated." As Deku said, "How? I didn't even do anything. Yeah, you just tired yourself out and I just came in for the last punch." Bakugo said, "Whatever. I'm gonna be the #1 hero someday. I'm gonna beat you and All Might." Deku said, Yeah, sure thing, Kachan." As after that, Bakugo leaves with his goons. Because, yeah, he has goons at this age. He goes up to Jiro and saying, "Are you okay, Jiro?" And Jiro says, "Thanks," slightly blushing, and gives him a little hug. As Deku is blushing, quite crazy, because it's still Deku, guys. Unlike my Sub-Zero video, he is not as cool-headed as he is. He's still Deku. He analyzes like Deku does, but more advanced analyzation. As Mandalay seeing this, she doesn't want him to date yet. She's being overprotective mother there. As now it's been after that day, Jiro and Deku became great friends. Some years go by. I'm gonna say Izuku is now 10 years old. And the training camp, he has seen some heroes go by. Students, as he has trained a lot. He even met Aizawa. So, I'm gonna say this is like one of the first times he actually talked to Aizawa, because whenever the training camp happens, he isn't really... Like, Mandalay and him doesn't really go out to see the training. But now it is his first time seeing the training. Because he is strong enough he's beaten Tiger multiple times, Pixie Bob, and Ragdoll, all in his own. Although the one person he can never really beat is his own mother. Because, yeah, you never really want to beat your own mother like that. And yeah, no matter how strong you are, your mother will beat you. But yeah, he can take all three of them on his own, single-handedly. And he has trained with different weapons too. As now, so I will actually show you the weapons. He has trained with bows, this energy sword based thing, but he has trained with sword, of course, and a shield. Obviously, like Captain America, he will incorporate the color schemes like this. This is what he will kind of look like. I will look for a better picture whenever I can, but actually, yeah, I don't know how long this video has been going, so as they introduce is like just like the using what. As I'm going to say, this is like the year of when Comedy Woods, Mount Lady, and I think Death Arms was around their age before they all made their debut. Because they would be around this age when they were in UA, I would think, really. As the Walla Walla Pussycats, we're going to introduce you to the strongest member of our family. And I'm going to say Koda is now part of their family too. Like, Deku knows about what happened to the water hoses. And this is just driving him to be more of a hero. Not like a fake hero like everyone else. He doesn't despise them, but he doesn't like them either. As they said, introducing Izuku Midoriya. Because I'm just going to keep him his last name. As the other students are looking at him like, that's just a kid. And some people laugh. And I'm thinking, Tenya Ida, Tensei, I believe. Yeah, Tensei Ida, Ida's brother, is there. And he said, don't underestimate him. Even though he's younger, he might have a powerful quirk. As they said, yeah, right, what gonna do? As he's just holding up his shield, like kicking it as how Captain America brings up his shield. And Deku's saying, you want to try me then? As most of the students said, yeah. Some were impressed by his shield technique, and he dusted almost all of the students who did fight him. He did dust them all. He cleaned their clocks, even learning their moves and incorporating with him to make him more unpredictable. The others, and I'm gonna say Deku at this age, he's like Canon Deku. Not very muscular, but somewhat like built. Starting to be more, have his muscles more defined. Cause yeah, he just goes to Mandalay. Mandalay explains, you all lost because you underestimated him. Even though he's young, he's more experienced because he trained a lot. As the kids who lost, yeah, right, no, that kid's on steroids. So he's a little monster. And so whoever raised him is a monster too. As Deku takes a friend test, throwing his shield at that kid who said that, landing in his face and bouncing back to Deku and says, don't talk to my mom like that. Says, if you want to be a hero, accept a loss and learn from it. Now listen to my mom and just shut up in general. He goes back to Mandalay. Aizawa was impressed by the kid's technique. After everyone leaves, Deku just watches some of the heroes to see the heroes he didn't fight to see if he can incorporate any of their moves into his repertoire, aka arsenal. If you guys don't know what repertoire means. Sorry for the noise. My sister's dog runs like crazy and is a puppy. So, as Aizawa asks Mandalay, is that your son? She's saying, yeah, but I adopted him a while back, and I can't be more happy to have a kind son like him. As he said, how does he know all those techniques? I noticed he even copied some of the techniques they did mid-battle. As she said, oh, well, he has perfect memory. It's not part of his quirk, it's just his mindset in general. As I was impressed by it and says, you know, I can teach him some things and get some other heroes too, like Snipe and not Death Arms, but I'm like Gunhead. Yeah. As Mandalay said, I'll think about it. I was thinking about getting some pros to help too, so like Gran Torino. As Aizawa said, okay, but can I teach him some stuff while I'm here myself? He agrees, and they look for Izuku, but Izuku's watching Ingenium. Ingenium notices that and asks, is there anything you need? And he said, nah, I'm just watching your fighting style. It's actually quite fluent and almost perfect. So you incorporate a lot of kicks, but why don't you incorporate some punches with your booster arms? As he said, oh, well, never really thought about it, but I do, because I do think he should mainly do kicks like Ida. I never actually see Ida throw a punch, just kicks. As Deku asks how long it took you to learn the fighting style and whatnot, 10 years, at almost my entire life and whatnot. 10 years asking, what, you want to learn? As Izuku said, I think I already got it down, as he does the exact same Tensei does. Perfectly. As Tensei is stunned by this, like, wow kid, is that part of your quirk? As he said, nah, it's more or less my mindset. I can watch something once and perfectly mimic it. I've learned plenty of other skills too over my years. And I'm only 10 years old. It's Tensei like, kind of like my little brother. So, I think you two would be good friends one day. Are you planning on going to UA? As Izuku stating, yes. I want to be a hero just like my aunts and uncles, my mom, and All Might. And Aizawa too. He seems pretty cool. Because I think Tensei did go to UA. I would think so, at least. And so he said, yeah. Then Aizawa steps up to Deku and asking him if you want to learn some stuff from me. Deku says yes. He does. In the entire week, he learned everything Aizawa knows. Aizawa's even more impressed and telling Mandalay like he can get in by recommendation right now if he was of age. But for the time being, I'll see if I can get some heroes contact and with him, train him and whatnot. Mandalay's saying greatly appreciate that, and Aizawa even gave him, like Izuku, one of his scarves, because now he has that in his arsenal. And yeah, now it is Day of Canon. As Deku's 14. He has learned quite a bit, from Gunhead, Snipe, Gran Torino's dodging style, and some other heroes too that primarily uses their fists and whatnot. I can't think of everything, but yeah. As he also learned different martial arts, kickboxing, boxing, different disarming techniques, parkour, and yeah. And he even knows how to dodge and block and even counterattack different quirks whenever he has to fight them. As he also has made the drawing of his armor. Basically, it's this mixed with some of this and some of the new taskmaster look too. Like he has learned, like Deku in this one has also learned how to do like the Black Panther's claw technique. Like he added claws to his arsenal from learning from the Wild Wild Pussycats. As him and Jiro's also relationship has grown closer, becoming greater and greater friends. As such, Mandalay notices that, and Mandalay knows that he is almost of age of having more interest in girls. So Izuku's actually have a crush on Jiro, and Jiro has a crush on him. And yes, this is the ship. I don't think I'm going to add multiple people to this ship, which I have no interest in doing that. But yeah, so as Deku and Jiro have also learned many different instruments, from guitars, pianos, and drums. A lot of different instruments. But yeah, now is the day of school. So now the teacher comes in like, alright, I know all of you. It's time for a career assessment to see where you all wanting to go. He throws a paper and says, oh, who am I kidding? I know you all want to go to UA. Everyone shows them off their quirks, except for two, Bakugo and Izuku. Bakugo does the same speech as in canon, but even more arrogant. Because he knows he fought against Deku a lot of times. And lost a lot of times. He said, yeah, I'm the best student here, and no one can compare to me. So, as someone said, well, except for Izuku. And he stopped like, what? As the teacher also the teacher said, oh yeah, Izuku, you also want to go to UA. And yeah, your grades are even better, and you're more athletically fit than Bakugo. So I definitely think you can get in by just simple recommendation. Izuku in the background like, yeah, I could, but I think I prefer to go through the regular test to prove myself. Everyone respects that, because he is quite intelligent, He only needs to look at source material once to get a perfect A. And does other stuff too. As a lot of pro heroes actually know him. Because he was with Mandalay and everyone else during training camp, and yeah. But yeah, so it is the end of the day. Deku is putting up all this stuff. Bakugo walks up to him and is like, "You can't go to UA. Sir, I'm the only person he is going to get into UA, and that's final." Deku's saying, "Okay." Bakugo said, yeah, okay, so go somewhere else to go to be a hero. Even if you can. As Deku said, like, "No, I'm still going to UA. I'm saying okay, like I had enough of you. I thought you grow out of this at some point after all the ass whoopings I brought to you, but nope, apparently not. So, not only that I'm going to go to UA, but I'm going to get the top scores both in the villain battle portion and in the theory exam." Bakugo is beyond pissed now. He better throw explosion at Deku, but Deku dodges, punches Bakugo in the gut, and punch him, and he's out cold. All of Bakugo goons is like, "Whoa, man, whoa." Like, calm down. All the kids sees this, the teacher sees this, but this is typical at this point. They're used to it. And they told Bakugo's, the teacher said, "Can one of you bring Bakugo to the nurse's office again? This is like the 10th time this week." As Deku just walks under the bridge, sensing that someone is nearby, and seeing the sludge villain, he dodges immediately, prepares himself in a fighting stance, and the sludge villain says, "Kid, I need your body." I didn't know he would. So give me your body. As Deku said, "Well, pervert, so I'm not giving you my body." As the sludge villain said, "Not like that. I didn't know he was going to be here, of all people." Deku asks, "Who do you mean?" And then he has a familiar laugh. "Ha ha! Have no fear. Why? Because I am here." Then you should see a huge gust of wind hitting the sludge villain. Deku is not fanboying out as in canon, but he is still somewhat fanboying and saying, "Oh my god, it's All Might," and asking him to sign his notebook. All Might incorporates, like, "Sure." And he even says, like, "Well, you handled yourself pretty good there for a moment, kid. So, I saw you dodge him and such, and you remind me of someone else I know. Like my old teacher." Deku said, "Yeah, I actually learned from Gran Torino." All Might is, like, curious, like, "What do you mean by that?" As he's intrigued. And he said, "Well, I learned from all sorts of heroes all my life. From Ingenium, because Ingenium would be, like, all the heroes from the past would have been all grown up and past, like, since the training camp. As he said, Ingenium, Comedy Woods, Death Arms, Gunhead, Snipe, Eraserhead. All Might is impressed that he knows all of these heroes and learned from them over the years. He's also eyeing Deku, looking at his body and see, like, maybe he could be my successor. As All Might, like, "Well, I gotta go and return this villain. I will see at the UA if you get in." Deku said, "Oh, I'm getting in. I also have perfect memory with my boost quirk, so I'll be surprised if I don't get in." Because at this point in Deku's life, he is as smart as Nezu. Like, maybe not exactly as smart, but battle tactic wise, he can go up against Nezu and win possibly. All Might is like, "Well then, so what is your quirk exactly?" He said, "Well, my quirk is a boost quirk." And he said, "Does the explanation against I think I explained it like 3 separate times already." All Might is impressed, but And he obviously told him about his perfect memory. And All Might's like, so capable person like him could learn one for all in an instant. I'll definitely keep my eye on this one. As All Might says bye and jumps away, still thinking about the kid. As he's not focusing on the sludge villain, he drops the bottle. And yeah, Deku is like, oh man, I can't wait till Jiro sees this. He thinks Jiro is slightly blushing now, as he hears a large explosion. Goes to it, doing some parkour on building and building, and looking above and seeing what's happening. The sludge villain attacking. No heroes can get nearby them. He said, oh man, what do we do? As he said, I think the only thing that anyone can do anything is probably me at the moment. As he gets his shield out of his backpack. Okay, I'll watch that later. As he just jumps down there with parkour, landing perfectly. As he said, yo, snot ball. As the sludge villains, who are you calling a snot ball, you twerp? As Deku, as the sludge villain finds like tendrils or something like that at Deku, attacking him. Deku perfectly dodges them, blocking them, and now throwing his shield at the sludge villain, hitting him and getting Bakugo like loosely away from Bakugo. As Deku finds something from his arm, a rope, like a wire, wrapping around Bakugo's arm, pulling him out. Because at the moment he doesn't have Aizawa's scarf on him. I'm going to incorporate that to his arsenal of weapons around him. He will have a shield, an energy sword that won't cut anyone's limbs off, but will more or less have some electrical damage. And can still slice through some concrete. And possibly some guns too, but with rubber bullets. And his bows and arrows with other tricks like explosive arrows, an arrow that has foam in it, and a grappling arrow too, if he so needs the equipment on him. And of course some like the Black Panther claws too, to climb buildings easier, and to incorporate like mandalays and all the Wild Pussycats textile. Oh, I also forgot to mention Koda's relationship with Deku. They're pretty tight. Like, Koda sees Deku as a true hero already, because he can back up his talk and defend himself perfectly. So he likes Deku a lot, and him and Deku are good cousins. And yeah, he has, like, now Deku's just perfectly fending off the sludge villain from getting Bakugo back. All Might is seeing this and more impressed that he can also defend civilians around him too, as All Might gets inspired and stops the sludge villain doing a Detroit smash. After that, All Might is getting praise, and so is Deku and Bakugo. Well, Deku gets chewed out somewhat at first, but some of the heroes recognize Deku from their younger age. They're like, oh man, it's you again? Man, you cannot stop showing us up, can you, kid? As Deku said, nope, even after you guys graduated, I'm still better than you at fighting. As they are like in a defeated look, like, oh man, he's right. As then he started getting some praise all from civilians, mostly. Getting news coverage, and he's like, I don't really want to do this. So he just parkours up on buildings, running from building to building. As All Might is asked Bakugo, like, who was that kid? Because he did forget to ask Deku's name. He said, that's Izuku Midoriya. I really just call him Deku, though, so. What? He said his mom is the pro hero Mandalay. Well, his stepmom. And he catches like stepmother, huh? And he does know Mandalay and the Wild Pussycats, obviously. May I go pay them a little visit sometime? As Deku's walking back to the forest, he gets a phone call from Mandalay, being an overprotective mother as usual, saying, "Are you okay? I saw the news." And Deku said, "Yeah, Mom, I'm fine, don't worry." And telling her that I'll be home in a moment. As he hangs up, and All Might comes out of nowhere, like, "I am here." And Deku is surprised, like, "All Might, what are you doing here?" And All Might saying, "Well, I was impressed by your skill in battle, and I have a question for you." So, as Deku said, "Alright, shoot. But first, can you explain that injury on you?" As All Might like, "Huh? What do you mean?" And Deku said, "Yeah, I can see an injury on your lowest abdomen side. Left side, I believe it was? Yeah. I'm gonna say left side, as All Might like, "How do you know about that?" As Deku said, "I can basically tell when someone is injured or not, and you're really injured. You're hiding it well. I couldn't notice it at first, but at the second time when I saw you fighting the sludge villain the second time, I noticed it was an injury on you." All Might goes out of his buff form and goes into skinny form and said, "Impressive, kid." And then he just shows Deku the injury, explaining what happened. As Deku is upset, seeing that one of his favorite heroes he idolized is injured and losing his power. And he said, "That's a horrible, man. I'm sorry." All Might said, "It's just the cost of being a hero, kid. So, I hope this doesn't drive you away from being a hero." Deku saying, "No, if anything, this proves that I want to be more than nothing to be a hero. Someone who sacrificed for the people, just like you and my mom does, all the time." All Might is happy by that response, and he asks Deku, like, while we're on the topic of some hero, I was wondering, do you want to be my successor of my quirk? Deku is puzzled by what he means, and he explains, All Might explains his quirk. He said, "Well, do ya, kid?" Deku stands there for a moment, and looks at All Might, and he said, "All Might, I think I got your answer for you." That is where I'm going to end it off, guys. Oh, God, okay. So, yeah, no, that's where I'm going to end it off. I want to contemplate if I want to give him one for all or not. Or someone else. Either way, so, tell me what you guys think about this. I know it's a bit long than most of my videos, most likely. Yeah, that's pretty long, actually, now I'm realizing it. And, yeah, so I'm actually going to have to get ready for work. And I've been thinking about this video since the Sub-Zero one, honestly. Before that one, even. I just wanted to do Sub-Zero first, but yeah. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, obviously. And if you guys noticed on one of my past videos that I did try to do a poll on which video I should do next. Either Taskmaster or Greed. No one really responded, so I should decide to do Taskmaster and do Greed from Full Metal Alchemist another time. Maybe after the Sub-Zero one. Because that one is coming too close. Not a close end, but close to, like, end of Season 4. Because I'm going to stop at that point and just wait until Season 5 comes out fully. And maybe do that by episode. Either way, hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys have a good night, good life. Bye.